with another video. Before we get into the video, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
Cardi B fans are promoting Cardi to queen status
after she did break her records. Now, previously, it was reported that Cardi B was not going to be in the top 10 on the album chart for her new album, Am I Delusional? It has been reported that Cardi B has the most weeks spent inside the top 10 on the Billboard 200 for the 2010s. For the Invasion of Payola album, she spent 21 weeks inside the top 10. And then for the 2000s and 20s, for Am I Ugly album, she's currently at number 8. And she was tied with Pink Friday 2, but she has surpassed that. So let me know how y'all feel about it. Hits Daily Double did predict that basically she would not be inside of the top 10, but they obviously got it wrong. So let me know if this is a W or an L for Cardi B. She's selling 30,000 this week. Pink Friday 2 sold 32,000. But I feel like this is still a W for Cardi B, but I don't know if people care about the album still. Like, I get it's still in the top 10, but what is the hit on the album? I want to know, whoever is a fan of Cardi B, what do you consider the hit on the album? Because I feel like the streets are not talking about this album. Like, there's no hit on the album that the streets are really listening to. So let me know how y'all feel about it. Now, moving on from that, a lot of fans are calling out Cardi B because people are accusing her of getting a facelift. You know, she was spotted in a gym a few days ago. She gave birth last week. And then, people are accusing her of getting some sort of surgery right after she just gave birth. Let me know how y'all feel about it. I don't feel like she would get a facelift. Well, actually, I can see Cardi B getting some sort of surgery, but I don't know if it makes sense to get surgery so soon. But one thing I do know, I'm expecting Cardi B in 2026 and for the remainder of 2025 not to come after people's looks if they're going to go under the knife so many times. Okay? Because I just feel like if you get so much surgery, you can't really think that you're beautiful because you don't like how God really made you. Okay? That's how I look at it, in my opinion. So I don't want to hear her talk about in no music. I'm just talking about music and on Twitter and on social media. I don't want her to call nobody ugly. I don't want to hear her talk about nobody's looks. Because if you go under the knife, you cannot shade nobody when it comes to how they look. If you don't like the way you originally look, if you don't like how God created you. That's just my thing. And if she just went under knife every once in a while, but it seems as though she goes under knife very frequently, it kind of doesn't make logical sense how she can talk shit.
Now, a lot of fans are calling Cardi B out because it was reported that Planet Her was actually in the top 10 for 41 weeks, okay? Which is an all-time record for a female rapper. But a lot of people are saying the reason why, they're not counting this is because Planet Her, a pop album on certain streaming platforms, okay? So even though D0JA Cat is a female rapper, just like V is technically a pop album. If you look on Apple Music, allegedly, I don't have Apple Music, but if you look on Apple Music and certain streaming platforms, they do classify Planet Her as a pop album because there's no such thing as pop rap, okay? So that's why people are not crediting Planet Her for being in the top 10 for 41 weeks, okay, by a female rapper. So let me know how y'all feel about that.
Now, moving on from that, Megan Thee Stallion is getting dragged on social media because Lover Girl is out of the Billboard charts, the Hot 100 Billboard charts already. And it came out, I believe, 2 weeks ago. Now, a fan said Megan Thee Stallion's Lover Girl is out. She used her relationship to try and sell this song, and it still flopped. That song fell 63 spots off the charts in 2 weeks, okay? Because Talk of the Charts puts out the Billboard predictions. And unfortunately, it looks like Lover Girl is not on the Billboard Hot 100 this upcoming week. Let me know how y'all feel about it. And why do you guys think it didn't last on the charts? In my opinion, I just feel like it wasn't the strongest single to put out. And that is probably why it didn't sell. Also, Klay Thompson, like everybody says, because I don't watch basketball, but everybody's saying he's a sucky player. So it's not like you dating Kobe, R.I.P. Or, LeBron. If you dating a sucky player, I don't know how much clout you gonna get for coming out with this person. You know what I'm saying? But I also believe it's a lot of the fans' fault. I don't really blame Megan Thee Stallion. I think a lot of people only support Megan on social media. I notice a lot of people will go viral for sticking up for Megan Thee Stallion on social media and dragging other artists. But unfortunately, viral tweets don't count for Billboard. So if you get a viral tweet, that doesn't help a artist chart on Billboard like a lot of fans think it does. And I think a lot of people pretend to support Megan Thee Stallion, but when it comes to do they really, really like Megan's music, I think it's obvious that even some of her fans really don't, because there's no way that your song would only be on the charts for 2 weeks if you really liked the song. Okay, y'all can say, oh, she don't get radio, she don't get this and that, but I feel like she would be charting a little bit more, even if that was the case. And she does have a distribution deal with, her management, Roc Nation, and they would be able to get her, the payola or, radio that she needs. I think Camel Face could make a few calls. I think that it just wouldn't be a good investment, because if she's not selling organically, and there is an investigation going on payola firing certain streaming companies and certain radio stations for payola, it's not going to be worth it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's twofold. I don't really blame Megan. I blame her fans, and I also blame a lot of people on social media that don't support Megan's music. They just like to get viral tweets on social media. Now, a lot of fans are speculating that Queen Bee may be going through some sort of abuse in her relationship with Camel Face, who, she's been with since, 2000? Okay, like 25, 30 years. And it's because a chef named Daniel Booley spoke about a moment he had with Queen Bee and Camel Face at his restaurant. He said, well, once I was very starstruck by Camel Face and was having dinner at Daniel, and throughout the middle of the meal, I was cooking with the staff, and Camel Face came up to him and said, do you want to say hello to Queen Bee? And he said, well, yeah, why not? So Camel Face said, yeah, come with me. She's outside waiting. And he goes outside with him. And the chef said, I think she had a Maybach or something, a big Maybach. And I opened the door, and Camel Face was next to me. And I opened the door, and Queen Bee was laying down. And she said, hello, Daniel. How are you? He recalled her saying to him. The chef noted that she was coming out of a concert and believed she had already eaten dinner, so she just wanted to reset. She was waiting for Camel Face to come out, and he was not ready to go out, and she was kind of resting, and you get really starstruck. I mean, finding Queen Bee laying down and having a moment of peace, that's special. Now, a fan said this doesn't sound good at all. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to see certain signs. Another fan said, Imagine being the biggest star on the planet, exhausted from a 3-hour show and wanting to go home, but you gotta wait in the car because your F-ass husband wants to dine in a restaurant. Okay, so a lot of fans are saying that this is kind of abusive towards Queen Bee. I don't know if I would say it's that, but I do feel like it's called not being considerate to your partner, which in my opinion, a lot of men don't have that character, being considerate or, thinking about the other person's feelings all the time. And in my opinion, that's probably what it was. I wouldn't say that, he's being abusive or, he is taking advantage. But I also will say that I do believe Camel Face uses Queen Bee's star power to get what he wants. Okay, because it's not like he's a global superstar like Queen Bee. I'm not saying he's not known outside the U.S., but he's not on Queen Bee's level when we're talking about a global superstar. He uses Queen Bee to get what he wants. Allegedly, behind the scenes, he uses Queen Bee's name to get certain deals. So it definitely looks suspicious, but I wouldn't go as far to say like he's abusing her or anything like that. I think it's more of a tactic that he used because he knows that Queen Bee is a superstar and he is not. So he uses her name to get certain things. And allegedly he could be a tad bit controlling. The streets do say that Queen Bee is technically controlled. Now moving on to SZA. So SZA was liking pictures of Champagne Thickums allegedly on social media, according to the fans. But word on the street is that SZA has reached out to Champagne Thickums to extend an olive branch. Now, if you guys remember in her GQ interview, she did state that she was on neither Kendrick or Champagne Thickums' side. She said the beef had nothing to do with her. It was two men going back and forth, and it was unfortunate. Even though she was at the Pop-Out concert, and she did tour with Kung Fu Kenny. So a lot of fans have been calling her fake ever since. And in my opinion, I do feel like it can look a certain way. If I was SZA, I would not try to work with Champagne Thickums after the fact. Allegedly, if she does go back to that side to work with Champagne Thickums, Kendrick Lamar will be done with her. I think that if SZA was smart, she would stay on TDE's side. Not only, just out of respect, but it was like, girl, like you literally went on tour with Kendrick Lamar. He brought you out to perform at the Super Bowl. Like, come on now. Like, we can't move like that. And I definitely think that her team will probably talk some sense into her. But let me know how y'all feel about it. If you guys would be here for another Champagne Thickums and SZA collaboration. Rich Baby Daddy was absolutely fire. I feel like that was their best collaboration. But it's not better than Luther or even All the Stars. It is not better than any collaboration she's ever did with Kendrick Lamar. It's good. You can even say it's great, but it's not better than Luther. Luther is a timeless record that could get played like 10 years from now. Rich Baby Daddy, I don't even listen to that now. Not saying that it's trash, but it's not like something I would put in my playlist right now, currently. But let me know how y'all feel about it, and do you feel like SZA is fake? Now, moving on from that, Tyla Chanel jumps 48 spots to a new peak of 129 on a global Payola chart with a new daily high of 1.39 million streams. Okay, so congratulations to Tyla on this. And like I said before, Chanel is a hit in my opinion. I feel like the label didn't really do their due diligence when pushing the record, because this song should really be everywhere. Like on radio, it should have playlisting. I don't think it's really getting that much of a push, but it's a bop in my opinion. So congratulations to Tyla. Now, Pusha T is receiving 50,000 lashes. He posted a few days ago a post dedicated to his wife, Virginia. He said, all things considered, Nigel, you ask and you shall receive. But this time it was mommy who made it happen. She prayed day and night, struggled with disappointments, but she never gave up on your wishes. You are going to owe her big time. New responsibility, new standards, and new expectations all come with being a big brother. I hope you're ready. It's time to share them toys, teach your gifts, and love on the new best friend that mommy gave you. You're going to love it. You look at your daddy and Uncle Mookie. What's better than that? And then he says, Virginia, thank you for my second baby boy. I hope you carry on the tradition and never teach me how to change a diaper, prep a meal, suck out a snotty nose, or anything else a supermom does. You make things very easy for me, and I love and appreciate you for all of it. See you in the spring 2026, my boy. Now, the second paragraph rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and that's why he's receiving 50,000 lashings. I feel like if you don't do those things when a child is a toddler or a baby, you're not really a good father. Just because you provide, that doesn't mean that you're a good father. Being a good father is also being there for the child, making sure if the mother is not around, you're able to do certain things. And now I understand Pusha T probably could afford a nanny, but what's going to happen if hypothetically something happens to Virginia? Okay, so you're not going to know how to change diapers. You're not going to know how to, take out snots out of nose. Like, these are basic things. It's not like these are really challenging. It's not hard to learn how to change a diaper. So that's why he's receiving 50,000 lashings. But also Champagne Thickums decided to like the post of, Pusha T dedicating a post on Instagram to his wife, Virginia, on another blog. It wasn't directly on his Instagram profile, but he liked the post because a lot of fans were also talking about the age gap between Pusha T and his wife. I believe they have like an 11-year age gap. And there was some speculation that she met him when she was 18 and he was 29. So, Champagne Thickums is liking that post because obviously we know he's suing Universal because he feels like they promoted the song Not Like Us, which called him a pedo. So that's why he's liking the post. I guess he's trying to say that Pusha T is a hypocrite because Pusha T was raving about Not Like Us.
Anyway, I got some very hot tea on Nicki Minaj, Sydney Sweeney, Zendaya, Selena, and Haley Bailey on Patreon. Link would be in the description, and I hope you guys have a great day.